our News Live at 7, Prime Minister Philip Davis says he's cancelling work permits when qualified Bahamians are overlooked, insisting that locals should never feel like outsiders in their own country. And by month's end, Exuma's roads get pothole-free lanes and new guardrails, while Eleuthera sees fresh paving, raised road beds and piped water into Bannerman Town. Plus, the Agriculture Minister says the $15 million Golden Yoke program will deliver 100% locally produced eggs by the end of 2025. We'll tell you how much, he says, it'll slash the country's food import bill by. Then in our news at 7:30, with debate on the 2025-2026 budget set to kick off tomorrow, FNM Chairman Dr. Dwayne Sand says the numbers must add up, raising red flags about questionable allocations. Our News Live at 7 starts right now. Welcome to our News Live at 7. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. I'm Jerome Sawyer in for Candino Knowles. Enough is enough. That's the word from Prime Minister Philip Davis, who recently blasted from the pulpit at Revolution Church that Bahamians will no longer be treated like second-class citizens in their own country. His message Sunday comes on the heels of an April uproar when fed-up nurses picketed Breezes Resort, storming an orientation for nurses from Ghana to protest what they said at the time were missing paychecks and delayed employment letters. The nation's leader didn't tiptoe around the issue and admitted that he's personally intervened to deny work permits for foreign hires, pushing qualified Bahamians aside. Davis says no more excuses and no more shortcuts, drawing a line in the sand and saying local talent takes priority.
It is not acceptable to me that any qualified Bahamian should be sidelined for a job they are more than capable of doing. It is not acceptable that some employers continue to ignore local talent, acting as though Bahamians are somehow less competent or less deserving. I have personally directed the cancellation of work permits in cases where Bahamians were being unfairly bypassed or treated unfairly. We don't talk it. We'll be doing what we have to do. But I thought I'd let you know this morning. We have strengthened our policies to ensure that Bahamians, our sons and our daughters, are prioritized for the jobs that belong to them.
For Davis, he says this isn't political, it's personal. He pointed to his family's union roots to make one thing clear, that standing up for Bahamian workers isn't just another policy plank, but his purpose.
You know, every Labor Day, we pause to honor the sacrifice, the struggle, and solidarity of Bahamian workers. But if we are honest, one day is never enough. The truth is, our country is built on your hands. The dignity of your labor makes possible everything we enjoy. So I don't just stand here as a guest of the labor movement. I stand here as one of you. I am and always will be a friend of labor. I don't need a calendar or a parade to remind me where I stand.
Well, major upgrades in the millions earmarked for Exuma and Eleuthera. Delvardo Emmanuel tonight tells us it's all part of a public-private partnership with the Bahamas Striping Group of companies and is expected to significantly improve hundreds of miles of roads.
In Exuma, we're currently completing the roadworks between the Queens Highway, between Georgetown and the Ferry Bridge. So that is a continued process, and we hope to be completed with that by June 30th.
Motorists in Exuma will soon be driving on smoother pothole-free roads as final touches on roadwork there are expected to wrap up by the end of this month. It will mark the last phase of a public-private partnership project led by the Bahamas Striping Group of companies. General Manager Melanie Rhodes says the company has brought 2 local contractors on board to help install guardrails.
We had to raise those roads to alleviate flooding And so for safety measures, we're going to be installing guardrails that would prevent persons from rolling over the embankment.
And Exuma is not the only island where work is ongoing. Over on Eleuthera, road work is also underway, starting with Sherman's Highway.
Once we finish with that, we then will move to the road from Waterford to Cape Eleuthera. That road is going to be raised, I think, in some areas up to 1 foot, again, to alleviate the flooding.
The Eleuthera project also includes a major roadwork upgrade. A $2.4 million contract signed with Rowdy Boys Construction will bring piped potable water to Bannerman's Town, ending the long-standing dependence on water tanks.
Branching off of that will be the John Millar settlement. They will also get piped water for the first time in history.
And once roadworks are done, they won't just look good, they will be safer. The company is installing high visibility striping and a new traffic sign to alert drivers of curves, speed zones, and crossings. Reporting for our news, I'm Delvado Emmanuel.
By late 2025, you can look forward to fresh, locally produced eggs on your tables, helping to cut down grocery bills and strengthen local food security. Agriculture officials say the Golden Yolk program is set to deliver homegrown eggs by the last quarter of 2025, giving access to 100% Bahamian-produced eggs. Agriculture Minister Jomo Campbell says this $15 million initiative launched last February is designed to slash the country's annual food import bill by $12.5 million. Campbell says next steps include expanding hatchery capacity, securing feed supplies, and working with local farmers to scale up production facilities before year's end.
It will all depend on the timelines and the conclusions of the construction phase of it. And as you know, all of that, there are several external factors, weather, etc., that comes into play as it relates to construction. But as soon as they are done, we are on the way and we are ready to go with our mandate of it from the Ministry of Agriculture. The birds that are going to be a part of the process have already been sourced.
Well, with egg prices still climbing at some grocery stores, consumers are still looking for the relief they've been promised at the cash registers. Critics are calling out the Golden Yolk program's slow rollout, pointing to soaring household costs and demanding to know where the $15 million has gone. Free National Movement leader Michael Pintard is one of them. He's accused the government of missing deadlines and failing to deliver on its promises. Well, despite these concerns, Campbell insists the project is on track.
The Golden Yolk program is moving steadily and speedily ahead. The layer houses are out of the ground and they are there for all to see. There's no need for any speculation or political gesturing on it. Buildings are coming out of the ground, and that aspect of the project, the infrastructural aspect of that project, is now in the hands of the Ministry of Works.
Shifting focus now, the appeals court has shut the door on Jonathan Bethel's bid to reopen his case. Bethel, now serving 40 years, was convicted of the brutal October 12, 2013 slaying of his 75-year-old grandmother, Vivian Johnson, at her Golden Gates home. According to prosecutors, Bethel stabbed Johnson 27 times, then went for a joyride in her car. They say he even bought paint afterwards, hoping to cover up the blood splatter on the walls. His conviction and sentence were affirmed back in 2020. But Bethel asked the court to revisit the verdict, claiming he'd found new evidence and urging the government to foot the bill for fresh DNA testing that he believed could clear his name. Well, the appeals judges disagreed and refused his request, advising him to take his case on to the Privy Council. Well, all right, we've got a lot more coming up tonight, including Miss Bahamas Universe's big homecoming in Grand Bahama. She was cheered on the moment she stepped off the plane. But before we get to that story, let's take a look at what's happening on the outside of our studios tonight. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is in the Weather Center live tonight. Greg.
Yeah, thanks, Jerome, and happy Tuesday evening, everybody. Another great evening outside. Lots of showers, lots of clouds, and a very moist atmosphere. 77 degrees under rain-cool conditions. Mostly cloudy, showers out there. Winds a bit on the brisk side. East at 20 miles per hour. Your field strike temperature is at 75. Very cool. Current temperatures around the islands. It's all in the upper 70s to the low 80s across the northwest Bahamas, with 78 in Freeport, Marsh Harbour, Abaco, 79, Great Harbour Key, and in Governor's Harbour, Alistown, Bimini, 80 in Nichols, San Andros, Central Bahamas. We have some 80s there as well. 81 in Kemps Bay, 82 Black Point, Arthurstown, Kid Island, Coburn Townsend, Salvador, and in Port Nelson, 85 Georgetown, Dedmonds, 84, and into the Southeast Bombers, all in the mid-upper 80s there with Matthew Townley, Nagua, you are the warm spot at 87 degrees. This is the setup. Shear the water vapor. We have an upper level disturbance that's pushing towards the east, but that is pumping a lot of moisture across the area, and that is triggering these showers and thunderstorms, and this is how the setup is. Lots of clouds, lots of showers and thunderstorms, a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings being issued today by the Department of Meteorology. We will continue to see this continue through tomorrow, but we expect some dry conditions for the end of the week. That's your first look at weather. Stick with us. A look at your extended forecast is still to come.
Coming up in sports, Team Bahamas prepares to hit the road this week for a pair of games at FIFA World Cup 2026 qualification, and they've got a lot of ground to make up in Group B.
Hey, Greg Thompson here, and thank you for watching. Be sure to hit that follow button. And if you want to see more content like this, follow all of our news social media pages. And hey, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team you already trust.
Are you ready for the stormy season? Don't wait until the storm clouds gather. Contact the experts at Alive Business today and let us help you prepare for this hurricane season. For a limited time only, you can get 50% off our Bahamas Cloud, the ultimate solution to secure your data and communications, ensuring they're accessible even in the worst of weather conditions. Don't let the storm catch you off guard this season. Stay ahead of the game with Bahamas Cloud from Alive Business.
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Cable Bahamas Business Solutions SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus, it ensures that your messages are delivered directly to your customers' cellular phones, guaranteeing higher engagement. Save time and boost your outreach with SMS bulk messaging. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
When Team Bahamas took on the region at the 2025 Carifta Aquatics and Athletics Championships in Trinidad and Tobago, we were there. When the country's stars of tomorrow announced their arrival to the world. When champions rose, records fell, and history was made, we were there. Cable Bahamas, RTV, experience more.
Joshua Williams here. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that follow button and to follow all of our social media pages. Also, don't forget to push that notification button so that you can see all of the great content from the team you already trust.
My name is Trevi Williams. I've been a Live Fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast. The gentlemen that came to the installation were very helpful, reliable, very knowledgeable, and the time allocated to do the installation was shorter than the time specified. Yeah, the previous provider I had, I noticed that the internet speed actually had intermittent services, so I was very grateful that the Live.
Welcome to Our Sports is 7, presented by 10th Year Seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. That's Sean Martinot. Let's do show. We begin on the pitch, and the senior men's national team continues their journey on the path to the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers. The Bahamas Football Association announced a 21-member side for the upcoming matches. The team will face Grenada on June 4th at the Karani James Athletic Stadium in St. George's, Grenada, followed by a match against Costa Rica on June 7th at the Barbados Football Association Technical Center in Bridgetown, Barbados.
Taking it back to local soccer and the Samuel P. Haven Junior National Soccer Championships, the top players in the event were recognized at the finale. The Dragons' Issa Bornas was named Senior Girls MVP, while Jack Massey won the award for the Senior Boys. Dragons goalkeeper Alec Hooper also won the Golden Glove. The C.O. Walker Knights' Valtanique Simmons won the Golden Boot, while teammate Rania Russell won the Golden Glove.
Members of the 2025 international signing class got their first opportunity to take the field as professional baseball players in the Dominican Summer League. Several players made their debuts yesterday as the league opened its 2025 season. Texas Rangers prospect Dave Neely got the first hit of his career for the DSL Rangers Blue in their 10-8 loss to the DSL Yankees Bombers. Neely entered the game at shortstop in the 4th inning and singled in the 7th.
Toby Simmons has had an immediate impact in the debut season with his London Majors of Canada's Inter-County Baseball League. Simmons has been named IBL Player of the Week twice for his impressive start to the season.
That'll do it for Our Sports. Stay tuned to Our News at 7:30 for details on these stories and more.
When our news comes back from the break, we'll turn our spotlight to stories making headlines across the world as the CDC says all international travelers should get measles vaccinations. Plus, after months of turmoil in South Korea, they head to the polls to vote for a new president. And Miami's immigrant communities fear losing legal status after a U.S. Supreme Court ruling could strip hundreds of thousands of Venezuelans, Cubans, Haitians, and Nicaraguans their right to stay. The story when our news returns.
My name is Trevi Williams. I've been a Live Fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast. The gentlemen that came to do the installation were very helpful, reliable, very knowledgeable, and the time allocated to do the installation was shorter than the time specified. Yeah, the previous provider I had, I noticed that the internet speed actually had intermittent on the services, so I was very grateful that the live fiber was available in my area. Once I was able to make the switch, my service and everything I needed was satisfied. My favorite feature would actually be being able to add any apps from the Play Store. It's just basically making any dumb TV a smart TV. I do a lot of back-end support, engineering support, helping clients working remotely when I'm from home. The internet is a very important aspect of my job and my life. My name is Trevi Williams, and the future is home with a live fiber.
That was Judah saying, my name is Judah the Lion. I am Shad Fur. That's Kennison. This is Charlie Bahama. You know what's going on.
Right, look at this could be a show. We're here at Carnival because we have talent in the house. You know our Carnival has talented different people. We have talented different people. Not me. I'm just here to hold the mic for these three gentlemen here. Charlie Bahama this week right here at Cable Bahamas Channel 212.
When Team Bahamas took on the region at the 2025 Carifta Aquatics and Athletics Championships in Trinidad and Tobago, we were there. When the country's stars of tomorrow announced their arrival to the world. When champions rose, records fell, and history was made, we were there. Cable Bahamas, RTV, experience more.
Yo, what's good, my loyal viewers? Ronaldo Dorset of 10YS here. First of all, thanks so much for watching, but be sure to hit that follow button. If you'd like to see more content like this, follow all of the R News social media pages, and of course, don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss out on the top stories from the team, well, from the teams you already trust.
Are you ready for the stormy season? Don't wait until the storm clouds gather. Contact the experts at Alive Business today and let us help you prepare for this hurricane season. For a limited time only, you can get 50% off our Bahamas Cloud, the ultimate solution to secure your data and communications, ensuring they're accessible even in the worst of weather conditions. Don't let the storm catch you off guard this season. Stay ahead of the game with Bahamas Cloud from Alive.
This is our News Live at 7. Welcome back. We turn our attention now to those stories making headlines across the world. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention now says all U.S. travelers need measles shots no matter the destination. Previously, only trips to outbreak countries triggered that advice, but the CDC says research shows measles is spreading in transit, like a recent Colorado outbreak from an international flight to Denver. The CDC advised Americans aged 1 and older should get 2 MMR doses, and infants 6 to 11 months traveling need an early shot. The U.S. has reported over 1,000 measles cases this year alone. South Korean voters went to the polls Tuesday in a snap presidential election to end 6 months of political turmoil and focus on reviving that country's economy. The vote follows former leader Yoon Suk-yeol's brief martial law declaration that sparked controversy. Polls closed at 6 a.m. and polls opened at 6 a.m. and closed at 8 p.m. after early voting saw over a third of the 44.4 million eligible voters cast ballots. The National Election Commission says it will certify those results Wednesday, with the winner to be inaugurated soon after. Russia and Ukraine met in Istanbul on Monday for under an hour and agreed to swap more prisoners of war and return 12,000 bodies, 6,000 from each side. However, neither side advanced a lasting ceasefire as Russia seeks a long-term settlement, while Ukraine says that Russia isn't interested in peace. The Turkish president praised the talks and expressed hope for a future meeting between Russia and Ukraine leaders Vladimir Putin and Volodymyr Zelensky and U.S. President Donald Trump. No other major issues were resolved. Well, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled Friday that Trump administration can end temporary protected status for hundreds of thousands of Venezuelans, Cubans, Haitians, and Nicaraguans, affecting many in Florida. TPS extended or expanded under the Biden administration for those fleeing unrest, but now faces rollbacks, potentially impacting some 350,000 Venezuelans alone. Some Cuban Americans in Miami say their families feel betrayed after backing Trump at the polls. Critics argue the decision punishes immigrants who followed legal processes. Still to come in our news, today in history, find out interesting facts about the day that was June 3rd. And then in our news at 7:30, it was meant to promote Labor Day, but Union President Belinda Wilson calls for her image to be pulled, saying the flyer sends the wrong message. Plus, from tourist magnet to ghost town, the once bustling International Bazaar in Freeport could soon be reborn. The Port Authority outlines what's next in tonight's City in Focus when our news returns.
Are you ready for the stormy season? Don't wait until the storm clouds gather. Contact the experts at Alive Business today and let us help you prepare for this hurricane season. For a limited time only, you can get 50% off our Bahamas Cloud, the ultimate solution to secure your data and communications, ensuring they're accessible even in the worst of weather conditions. Don't let the storm catch you off guard this season. Stay ahead of the game with Bahamas Cloud from Alive Business.
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Cable Bahamas Business Solutions SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus, it ensures that your messages are delivered directly to your customers' cellular phones, guaranteeing higher engagement. Save time and boost your outreach with SMS bulk messaging. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
When Team Bahamas took on the region at the 2025 Carifta Aquatics and Athletics Championships in Trinidad and Tobago, we were there. When the country's stars of tomorrow announced their arrival to the world. When champions rose, records fell, and history was made, we were there. Cable Bahamas, RTV, experience more.
Joshua Williams here. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that follow button and to follow all of our social media pages. Also, don't forget to push that notification button so that you can see all of the great content from the team you already trust.
My name is Trevor Williams. I've been a Live Fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast. The gentlemen that came to the installation were very helpful, reliable, very knowledgeable, and the time allocated to do the installation was shorter than the time specified. Yeah, the previous provider I had, I noticed that the internet speed actually had intermittent services, so I was very grateful that the live fiber was available in my area. Once I was able to make the switch, my service and everything I needed was satisfied. My favorite feature would actually be being able to add any apps from the Play Store. It's just basically making any dumb TV a smart TV. I do a lot of back-end support.
this day in Bahamian history in 1964 was a significant turning point for the Bahama Islands as Ralph Francis Alnwick Gray took office as governor. Gray's tenure extended until 1968, a period that saw transformative changes for the colony. Gray's leadership was pivotal, culminating in the historic achievement of majority rule on January 10, 1967. This landmark event signaled a new era of governance and social progress for the Bahamian people, who gained greater control over their own affairs. Simultaneously, Gray served as governor of the Turks and Caicos Islands, showcasing his broad influence and commitment to the region. His career also saw him hold the distinguished post of the last governor of Northern Ireland. Gray died on October 17, 1999, in England.
Well, we're wrapping up this half hour with Miss Bahamas Universe's triumphant return to Grand Bahama. She was met with cheers from family, friends, supporters, and even government officials. Megan Shepard shows us just how warmly the new queen was welcomed as soon as she stepped off the plane.
It was a warm welcome of smiles, hugs, and signage as Miss Universe Bahamas 2025 Malik Miranda Bowe returned to Grand Bahama after securing the prestigious title.
I'll always be so elated when I see and feel the support from not just family and friends, but from Grand Bahama as a whole. I think it's beautiful that everybody came out and showed so much love, so much support.
Bowe went head-to-head with 9 other contestants from various family islands, all with their own unique stories, strengths, and passions. Bowe says during the finale night, she was fueled by her faith in God.
I had to have a lot of faith in God, faith in the plan, of course, but then also we put a lot of preparation, intention, and training behind everything that I did. And so once it was time that they made the announcements, then they called top 5 and everything. At that point, I was very confident and secure in my position, not knowing what would happen, but I knew that I did my best. And so once they announced best interview and best swimsuit, at that point, I was kind of just praying like, okay, it's looking really good, because those are the 2 major points. So I was really excited at that point. The competition itself was such a great competition.
The newly crowned queen is now preparing for her next step, a journey to Thailand to compete on the international stage.
I think this is something that I visualized and conceptualized from the very start, and Thailand is happening in November now, so it is my goal, it's my intention to put 110% into going off to Thailand and just representing as best as I could, not just Grand Bahama, but the Bahamas as a whole.
All right, thank you very much, Megan. And to watch that story again and for all of today's top stories, visit rnews.bs. That does it for Our News at 7. Joining us now is our Talia Hall. And Talia, now I know that Grand Bahama girls can speak well. Yes. Case in point.
Yes.
But she really represented so well.
Sure.
Very
I'm
articulate.
So proud of her. She's
Yeah.
also my god sister, and so kudos to Malik. Congratulations
Runs
to
in
her.
the family.
Yeah, I love my Grand Bahamian people.
All right.
But thanks so much, Robin. Thank you for the anchor's desk tonight. Well, coming up, warmer waters are supercharging hurricanes. Plus, find out about Freeport's International Bazaar and how it's getting a clean slate for new development. Here are your latest headlines. First tonight on Our News Live at 7:30 as debate on the 2025-2026 budget is set to begin tomorrow. Free National Movement Chairman Dr. Dwayne Sand says the math isn't mathing. Hear what he's calling into question straight ahead. Also, it's been a long public demand, and now the Prime Minister is making a commitment. We have his full comments coming up. Also, Bahamas Union of Teachers President Belinda Wilson is not happy with her image on a PLP Labor Day flyer. The union leader says it sends the wrong message and she wants it gone. And later, a fake license surfaces online and now 2 teens are in police custody. Hear what we know about the investigation into the alleged 8 Mile Rock rental scam when Our News at 7:30 returns.
administration is on the move. Day by day, panel by panel, our commitment to sustainable energy becomes more real. With each milestone, INTI redefines what is possible. Not only are the Lucayas solar power projects on the island of Grand Bahama growing in scale, they are setting a new standard for energy independence in the Bahamas. These state-of-the-art solar farms at the Fairfield and Devon sites, once completed, will harness the power of the sun to generate 9.5 megawatts of clean, sustainable energy. INTI is on the move as a beacon of progress and innovation that is rapidly transforming our energy landscape. Witness the future of sustainable energy unfolding on the island of Grand Bahama as INTI Corporation shines brighter than ever. INTI Corporation, powering your world, powering your future.
At Struckham, we're all about peace of mind. With the latest tools and technology like PestPack, managing pest control just got easier. It's simple. Log on to the portal to review past services or monitor trends. Just tap Service Reports to access detailed records and see how we're keeping your business pest-free. You can even customize permissions so your teams in maintenance and health and safety have real-time access to everything they need. With PestPack, you're in control, anytime, anywhere. Get ready to simplify pest management with just a few taps.
Grand Bahama is home to a unique economic arrangement, with that arrangement between government and the Grand Bahama Port Authority under scrutiny as tensions persist.
It's not our direct responsibility to carry out these other things that people think we should be doing.
We need this to be dealt with quicker than quicker and sooner than sooner.
I have a vision for Grand Bahama, and my vision's actually bigger than my grandfather's ever was.
Watch City in Focus, the story of Freeport with Italia Hall, starting August 7th only on RTV.
Welcome to our news. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Italia Hall. As parliamentarians prepare to begin debate on the 2025-2026 budget tomorrow, some of the money allocated for spending during the fiscal year isn't sitting well with the Free National Movement. FNM Chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands telling our Berthany McDermott that the money has to add up.
As the Davis administration lays another budget for the next fiscal year, Free National Movement Chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands says the allocations are a clear sign that the PLP just doesn't get it. The government allocated $140,000 to the Freedom of Information Office in the 2025-2026 budget year, the same as the last budget year. The Organization of Responsible Governance raised concerns over the allocations, while PLP Chairman Fred Mitchell said he believes the group is being overly critical. Sands says the government doesn't believe in transparency.
And that is why this administration has allotted hundreds of millions of dollars in no-bid contracts in order to reward the party faithful. And the rest of the Bahamian public will be conk. Okay? So freedom of information will continue to languish under this administration.
And although the former Minister administration made little movement on FOIA, Sands made this commitment.
You can take this to your Jesus. A Michael Pintard-led administration will make sure that freedom of information comes to life.
The FNM chairman is also hitting out at the $10 million allocated for a new parliament this fiscal year. The government projects the total cost for the project will be $65 million. When asked about it, Sands said this.
There's a level of contempt for the Bahamian electorate and the Bahamian people in general that as far as this administration is concerned, the House of Assembly is purely a means to an end for them to continue to do as they see fit.
And as the next general election looms, the government allocated $2.5 million to election expenses. And while on the face of it, he says there isn't an issue there, Sands says the details are what's important.
We know that this administration is not minded to give details unless you pry it out of them. So let's ask the questions. What are you planning on spending this $2.5 million for?
Reporting for our news, I'm Berthany McDermott.
All right, thanks, Berthany. Well, Prime Minister Philip Davis is pledging movement on the Freedom of Information Act. This fiscal year, after years of little movement from the Davis-led government, it comes after it was revealed that government allocated $140,000 this upcoming fiscal year, the same as this fiscal year. The Organization for Responsible Government expressed concerns over the move, while PLP Chairman Fred Mitchell said he believes org is being overly critical. Today, the Prime Minister explained there's a misconception as to what the Freedom of Information Act is.
It doesn't give unfettered access to information, right? And it doesn't, and it doesn't, in the scheme of things, it doesn't make available matters that's not already available to the public.
The Freedom of Information Bill was passed in Parliament in 2012 under the then Prime Minister Hubert Ingraham. It was never implemented, and an updated bill was passed in 2017 under former Prime Minister Perry Christie. Former Prime Minister Hubert Minnis pledged to fully implement FOIA, but that did not happen. However, work was done to establish an office. The PLP promised full implementation ahead of the 2021 general election, but that hasn't happened yet. Davis says the government had more pressing priorities.
When we came into office, our focus was on righting the ship, cleaning up the mess that we met. And that is our focus. And now that we have done that, we could now look at other things that we need to implement. And the Bahamian people were suffering. Some are still suffering. And until that suffering is alleviated, things as esoteric as matters of freedom of information, they can't take priority in my mind.
Bahamas National Alliance of Trade Union Congress and Bahamas Union of Teachers President Belinda Wilson is demanding her photo be removed from a Progressive Liberal Party Labor Day flyer that has her pictured at the top. In a passionate audio message, the union veteran called on Prime Minister Philip Davis himself to have her photo removed, saying it paints the wrong picture for a day that's supposed to be about the workers.
So I am publicly stating that I gave no one permission to use my photo. I am asking the PLP, because it's advertising the Prime Minister, etc. So Prime Minister Davis, I am sending this directly to your phone. Can you have my picture, Belinda Wilson picture, removed from your flyer, sir? Y'all have no permission to use my image and likeness.
Just last week, Trade Union Congress President Obie Ferguson announced his umbrella union would not be participating, accusing the PLP of politicizing the parade. And while union affiliates under Wilson's union will march, she doesn't want the graphic to present a false image.
I have no affiliation. They have no permission to use my picture on a PLP flyer advertising whatever it is they're advertising for Friday, because Friday is Labor Day for the workers. And I will be there to lead the BNATUC and the BUT, not the PLP.
Well, two juveniles, a male and female, are in police custody tonight in connection with a fake driver's license that recently surfaced on social media and was allegedly used to rent a vehicle in 8 Mile Rock, Grand Bahama. Press liaison Police Superintendent Stephen Rule confirmed with Our News the arrest and says both individuals are assisting with the criminal investigation. Once the probe is complete, police will determine whether charges will be filed and if the matter will go before the courts. The situation came to light on Monday after a photo of the fraudulent license with an image of a minor female began circulating online. Superintendent Roll is warning members of the public to not engage in similar activity, stressing that authorities will find and prosecute anyone involved or producing or using fake identification. Well, a court has awarded $60,000 to damages to a man who was unlawfully arrested and detained by police officers in Grand Bahama back in 2021. Edward Williams, who said he suffered post-traumatic stress disorder as a result of the incident, has sought $1 million in compensation. But acting Supreme Court Registrar Ronaldo Toots said that litigants should not expect to strike gold. He said awards must be reasonable, principled, and proportionate. Williams sued after he was pulled over near the Sister Patricia Junior High School in Freeport, Grand Bahama. Police searched his vehicle without lawful justification or a warrant. He was then aggressively removed from his car, handcuffed, tightly forced on the ground, and arrested without explanation. Williams was detained for 2 days. He was awarded a default judgment after the government failed to enter a defense to his claim. Well, scientists say warmer waters due to climate change are fueling powerful hurricanes. So what's the science behind it? Our Joshua Williams spoke with an island sustainability expert who breaks it down.
Hurricane season is here, and forecasters are predicting one of the busiest seasons in recorded weather history, with 6 to 10 storms forecasted to be full-blown hurricanes, with winds reaching 74 miles per hour or higher, and 3 to 5 storms could be major hurricanes with deadly winds of 111 miles per hour or above. So what contributes to the storms packing a powerful punch? Executive Director of the Small Island Sustainability Program at the University of the Bahamas, Dr. Kristen Anwala, explains.
Basically, a warmer atmosphere means there's more kinetic energy, more movement, so it has a greater capacity to hold moisture. And that means more water from the ocean can pass from a liquid phase into that gaseous phase. And that's when we get more humidity and just more water being held, water vapor being held in the atmosphere that's fueling those hurricanes.
And Wallace says it's a result of climate change. One of the most powerful storms to hit the Bahamas was Hurricane Dorian. The monster storm devastated the northern Bahamas in 2019. And Wallace calling it an unforgettable example of how the changing environment is impacting weather patterns. And with these powerful storms comes coastal flooding that can have devastating impacts on the environment and its ecosystems.
Storm surge tends to reach farther inland. There's flooding that happens for much longer periods. So we've seen that in many islands right in recent years with hurricanes, that the water table has been impacted by storm surge flooding.
This presents a major challenge as many residents still rely on well water. Here's what you should do if this affects you.
They would not be able to use that water because it would be too saline. And so relying on bottled water in those instances, ensuring that before hurricanes come, that you have adequate water that's in storage as well, because once salt water gets into the water table, essentially we can't use that groundwater any longer.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Joshua Williams.
All right, thanks so much for that, Josh. Well, stormy weather conditions on this Tuesday. Lots of rain, but hopefully we'll see some sun soon. Meteorologist Greg Thompson is in the Weather Center with your first look at weather. Greg, what can you tell us?
Yeah, thanks, Natalia, and welcome back, everybody, for a quick check on conditions around the islands and outside our studios. Currently, under mostly cloudy skies, we have 77 degrees with some showers nearby. Brisk winds east at 20 miles per hour. Feels like temperature is at 75. Set up right now, we have an upper level disturbance that's pumping a lot of moisture across the area. You notice a little spin here just to the east, west of the Bahamas. That's what's helping to spark those showers and thunderstorms across the areas, and we've been seeing that all day across the northwest and portion of the central Bahamas. Some severe thunderstorm warnings being issued earlier today. We'll likely continue these conditions through tonight and into tomorrow, so if you were praying for the rain, we got it, except that it's coming down in some buckets in some locations. That's a quick check on conditions around the islands. Stick with us. A look at your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come in our news, once a symbol of culture and commerce, now a shadow of its past. The Grand Bahama Port Authority unveils plans to clear the slate and start fresh with the International Bazaar. And later, despite global challenges, some Bahamian companies are performing well. RF Bank's David Slatter breaks down what's driving returns and where investors are seeing value when our news continues. Stay with us. Grand Bahama is home to a unique economic arrangement, with that arrangement between government and the Grand Bahama Port Authority under scrutiny as tensions persist.
It's not our direct responsibility to carry out these other things that people think we should be doing.
We need this to be dealt with quicker than quicker and sooner than sooner.
I have a vision for Grand Bahama, and my vision is actually bigger than my grandfather's ever was.
Watch City in Focus, the story of Freeport with Italia Hall, starting August 7th, only on RTV.
Family, how you look so down? Set up all cold and flu, could flip that frown. All the coughing and that runny nose cannot last. You must come back to work and class. Set them all can deal with that fast, yeah. Try set them all cold and flu, daytime and nighttime too. Try Setamol, cold and flu, and get back to the better you. Available at pharmacies nationwide.
Distributed by Lowe's Wholesale Drug Agencies Limited.
Are you ready for the stormy season? Don't wait until the storm clouds gather. Contact the experts at Alive Business today and let us help you prepare for this hurricane season. For a limited time only, you can get 50% off our Bahamas Cloud, the ultimate solution to secure your data and communications, ensuring they're accessible even in the worst of weather conditions. Don't let the storm catch you off guard this season. Stay ahead of the game with Bahamas Cloud from Alive Business.
Freeport's International Bazaar, once a bustling cultural hub, now sits in decay. Tonight, our news anchor, Candino Knowles, reports on how the Grand Bahama Port Authority is creating a clean slate for new developments.
Yeah, we were in the area approaching the African and Asian section, which was popular. It had all of the Chinese eateries and shops that sold different wares.
The International Bazaar's empty shops and overgrown walkways tell a story of decline. For years, this maze of stalls hosted families, artisans, and tourists. Hurricanes and neglect left buildings crumbling, but the GBPA says recent demolitions are paving the way for fresh investments and a true clean slate, as city managers prepare for what comes next.
We set out on contacting owners of those buildings for the consent to demolish those buildings. We would have received about 95% of the building owners' consent.
GBPA Vice President of Building and Development Services, Nikira Wilchcomb, says they've fronted demolition costs, recouping expenses only when parcels sell. Over the past 5 years, roughly 30 teardowns across Freeport have removed hazards and eyesores, now blank canvases for new development.
We hope that there's something that can be replaced there that brings that same type of nostalgia and maybe different. We are in different times, we're evolving.
And this clean slate ties directly to major projects coming online. Carnival Celebration Key Cruise Port nears completion, set to welcome thousands of passengers weekly. Meanwhile, talks to reimagine Grand Lucayan Resort aim to restore the landmark hotel, creating a tourism corridor that stretches from the shoreline through the heart of town.
The feedback has been mixed. There are persons, like I said, who still have that nostalgia of what the bazaar meant to them, what it used to be.
And with the bazaar nearly wiped clean and developments coming on stream, Wilchcomb says she hopes this blank canvas brings growth, jobs, and renewed pride that Grand Bahamians deserve. Reporting for our news, I'm Candino Knowles.
All right, thanks so much, Candino. And now to an update on how the local and international equity markets are performing. Despite ongoing global uncertainty, some Bahamian companies are delivering solid returns for investors. There are a number of top performers on the Bahamas International Securities Exchange at this time. As for the international markets, the U.S. has shown signs of resilience, as well as other markets across the globe. Well, during our monthly sit-down interview with RF Bank and Trust Vice President and Group Head of Investment, David Slatter, he offered insight into the latest trends in both the local and global markets and where investors are seeing the most value.
Look at the top companies. Actually, the top company year to date is Emera, which is the Canadian utility company that owns Grand Bahama Power. So it's viewed as a, a low-risk play in global markets. So given all the turmoil that's going on, they do have a healthy dividend. And so it's the number one performer in the local market. You've got FAMGuard Holdings. They've had a good year so far. They also pay a very healthy dividend. You've got Doctors Hospital. That's more a function of they did a stock split, right? And usually what happens, they went from, what did they do? They went from 2-to-1 stock split, so from 10.50 to 5.25. And usually what happens when a stock split occurs, a lot of investors simply see a smaller price and they think it's more attractive. It also means that you can buy more shares with a certain amount of money, and there tends to be a little pop in the share price, and it went from, say, 5.25 to 5.50. Then you've got Bank of the Bahamas has been doing really well over the last few years. I mean, they've totally turned the corner. I think I mentioned it before. The former president, Ken Brathwaite, and Neil Strachan, who was second in command, has now taken over the realm. And so far, they're doing a very good job of risk management and keeping politics out of the operations of the bank. Revenue up, profitability up, starting to repay dividends. Good for Bank of the Bahamas. Really, the returns globally have been in Europe and Asia, and that's because their valuations were much less, so they're more reasonably priced. And in the case of Europe, you've got, for example, in the defense industry, because it sounds like the U.S. wants to pull back from its support of Europe from a military standpoint. I think they've earmarked about $800 billion they want to put into defense. So defense contractors have done very well.
It's now time for tonight's Financial Market Minute, brought to you by RF, your local investment bank. This has been your Financial Market Minute. To explore the best performing mutual funds in the Bahamas, visit our website at www.rfgroup.com.
Coming up in sports, we discuss the side Team Bahamas will take into the next round of FIFA World Cup qualifiers. The top high school soccer players in the country receive top honors, and the youngest group of pro baseball prospects take the field for the first time.
Are you ready for the stormy season? Don't wait until the storm clouds gather. Contact the experts at Alive Business today and let us help you prepare for this hurricane season. For a limited time only, you can get 50% off our Bahamas Cloud, the ultimate solution to secure your data and communications, ensuring they're accessible even in the worst of weather conditions. Don't let the storm catch you off guard this season. Stay ahead of the game with Bahamas Cloud from Alive Business.
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Cable Bahamas Business Solutions SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus, it ensures that your messages are delivered directly to your customers' cellular phones, guaranteeing higher engagement. Save time and boost your outreach with SMS bulk messaging. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
When Team Bahamas took on the region at the 2025 Carifta Aquatics and Athletics Championships in Trinidad and Tobago, we were there. When the country's stars of tomorrow announced their arrival to the world. When champions rose, records fell, and history was made, we were there. Cable Bahamas, RTV, experience more.
Joshua Williams here. Thanks.
Welcome to Our Sports, presented by 10th Year Seniors. I'm Ronaldo Dorset. That's John Mark Nutt. Let's do show. We begin on the pitch, and the senior men's national team continues their journey on the path to the 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers. The Bahamas Football Association announced a 21-member side for the upcoming matches. The team will face Grenada on June 4th at the Karani James Athletic Stadium in St. George's, Grenada, followed by a match against Costa Rica on June 7th at the Barbados Football Association Technical Center in Bridgetown, Barbados. Competing in CONCACAF Group B, the Bahamas aims to secure a top 2 finish to advance to the next round. Grenada, also seeking their first win, opened their campaign with a notable 2-2 draw against Trinidad and Tobago, while regional powerhouse Costa Rica currently leads Group B. After receiving a bye to the second round of the qualification process, the Bahamas struggled in the last round and are still looking for their first points in the group. They suffered a 7-1 loss to Trinidad and Tobago in their opening match, followed by a 1-0 loss to St. Kitts and Nevis.
Taking it back to local soccer and the Samuel P. Haven Junior National Soccer Championships, the top players in the event were recognized at the finale. It was a night of celebration for the Life of Key Dragons, not only hosting the national championship trophies in the Duncan Girls Division and the J.S. Johnson Boys Division, but their players receiving individual accolades as well. The Dragons' Issa Bornas was named Senior Girls MVP, while Jack Massey won the award for the Senior Boys. Dragons goalkeeper Alec Hooper also won the Golden Glove. The C.O. Walker Knights' Valtanique Simmons won the Golden Boot, while teammate Ranea Russell won the Golden Glove.
Members of the 2025 international signing class got their first opportunity to take the field as professional baseball players in the Dominican Summer League. Several players made their debuts yesterday as the league opened its 2025 season. Texas Rangers prospect Dave Neely got the first hit of his career for the DSL Rangers Blue in their 10-8 loss to the DSL Yankees Bombers. Neely entered the game at shortstop in the 4th inning and singled in the 7th. Teammate Jalen Pinder got the start at second base for the Rangers. Toronto Blue Jays prospect JT Bain was a DH in the lineup for the DSL Blue Jays in their 7-6 loss to the DSL Arizona Black. Bain finished with a run and a stolen base. Athletics prospect Aiden Johnson also made his debut but went hitless in his team's 5-4 loss to the DSL Padres Brown. Other Bahamians competing in the DSL this season: Janai McPhee of the Chicago Cubs, EJ Darwell of the Boston Red Sox, Philando Williams of the Pittsburgh Pirates, and Alex Enyas of the New York Mets.
Toby Simmons has had an immediate impact in the debut season with his London Majors of Canada's Intercounty Baseball League. Simmons has been named IBL Player of the Week twice for his impressive start to the season. The 20-year-old outfielder hit .588 with 2 doubles and an RBI to win the award, and over the course of the season has racked up 12 hits, 3 doubles, a triple, a home run, and 7 RBI. Simmons is the first pro Bahamian player to play in the IBL. The former Miami Marlins prospect spent 2 seasons in the Dominican Summer League and 1 season in the Florida Complex League during his tenure with the club. In his 3 minor league seasons, he hit .249 with 85 hits, 30 extra base hits, 5 home runs, and 54 stolen bases with a .767 OPS.
That'll do it for our sports. This is 10YS. Okay, so Jazz is officially back. 30-30 season, back on track.
3 home runs tonight, 4 stolen bases. Who knows? It's going to be crazy.
Glad you're not setting the expectations too high. Back to the studio.
When our news comes back from the break, lots of rain on this Tuesday. Wondering when things will clear up? Greg is back with the extended weather when our news returns. Stay with us.
Are you ready for the stormy season? Don't wait until the storm clouds gather. Contact the experts at Alive Business today and let us help you prepare for this hurricane season. For a limited time only, you can get 50% off our Bahamas Cloud, the ultimate solution to secure your data and communications, ensuring they're accessible even in the worst of weather conditions. Don't let the storm catch you off guard this season. Stay ahead of the game with Bahamas Cloud from Alive Business.
Don't spend hours sending individual messages to your customers. Use SMS messaging instead. With Cable Bahamas Business Solutions SMS messaging, you can send personalized messages to hundreds or even thousands of recipients instantly. It's quick, effortless, and cost-effective. Plus, it ensures that your messages are delivered directly to your customers' cellular phones, guaranteeing higher engagement. Save time and boost your outreach with SMS bulk messaging. Call Cable Bahamas Business Solutions at 601-8911 in Nassau or 602-8811 in the Family Islands.
When Team Bahamas took on the region at the 2025 Carifta Aquatics and Athletics Championships in Trinidad and Tobago, we were there. When the country's stars of tomorrow announced their arrival to the world. When champions rose, records fell, and history was made, we were there. Cable Bahamas, RTV, experience more.
Joshua Williams here. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that follow button and to follow all of our social media pages. Also, don't forget to push that notification button so that you can see all of the great content from the team you already trust.
My name is Trevi Williams. I've been a Live Fiber customer since March 2024. The installation process was seamless, effortless, and extremely fast. The gentlemen that came to the installation were very helpful, reliable, very knowledgeable, and the time allocated to do the installation was shorter than the time specified. Yeah, the previous provider I had, I noticed that the internet speed actually had intermittent on the services, so I was very grateful that the live fiber was available in my area. Once I was able to make the switch, my service and everything I needed was satisfied. My favorite feature would actually be
This is our news. Welcome back. In the tropics, it's a little quiet out there. A couple of tropical waves moving across the tropical belt, but nothing showing any organizations at this time. Across the central and eastern Atlantic, quiet there. Very weak waves moving across that area. The Caribbean also quiet, and they have a lot of Saharan dust that's headed our way. So we'll tell you about that in a short while. And into the Gulf of Mexico, all is quiet there as well. But closer to home, we have that upper level disturbance just to the west of the Bahamas, triggering widespread showers and thunderstorm activity across the northwest and portions of the central Bahamas. Not too much happening in the southeast, but we expect some of that to build back towards the southeast later on. But we have one more day to experience this before we start to see some Saharan dust getting in here, and things should be quieting for the weekend. Taking a look at our future forecast, moisture in place, staying with us through Tuesday and into Wednesday, mainly across the northwest Bahamas as that upper level disturbance lifts out. And then by Thursday, we expect quieter conditions with some Saharan dust moving into our location. Boating forecast, all areas tonight to tomorrow. Caution flag in place. Rip current risk is elevated. East to southeast winds 15 to 20 knots. They will be gusting high at times. Seas will be running 4 to 7 feet over open waters. Here's a look now at your national forecast. In your extended forecast, more showers in the forecast through tomorrow. Temperatures will stay rather comfortable in the 80s. They could be falling into the 70s and some showers. We still keep some clouds around, but Saharan dust through the rest of the week and into the weekend. But we introduce some showers by next week. Temperatures will be back to the 90s at that time. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe night, everybody.
All right, keep those umbrellas out. Thanks so much for that, Greg. We'll see some rain for the next couple of days. And with that, we thank you so much for joining us for our news tonight on behalf of the entire team. I'm Natalia Hall. We'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great evening.